took a foreign language course in high school or in college? And how many of you can honestly say today that they retained most of what they learned to the point where they can be said to be fluent? The problem with many of these programs that are taught in high school or in college is that we are taught them at a later time in our lives when we're young adults or in our teenage stage already. I fully believe that language courses should be taught to elementary school students for a number of reasons. The main one being that it's better to start children young on language classes and have them continue throughout their education to help them retain and use their language later in life. Opinions that often contradict this say that by teaching a child more than one language at a time, you're just going to be confusing the kid and they're not going to learn English the proper way they should be learning it. However, statistics have shown that bilingual speakers are actually more capable in their English scores than monolingual or children that only speak English. Learning a second language while they are young gives them advantages later in life. It helps with cognitive process. It also helps the way their brain develops by helping them retain more information and changing the way that they think as a whole. Studies have shown, such as the Sweden's Karolinska Institute Medical University, that it can also affect Alzheimer's patients. They conducted a study between Alzheimer's patients that spoke more than one language and Alzheimer's patients that only spoke Swedish, and compared the two group studies together. What was found was that the patients that spoke more than one language were actually found to have Alzheimer's much later in life than, well, not much later, about 4 years later than the monolingual patients. 4 years is a long time. It really is, for this disease to pop up in a person. When they did CT scans comparing the bilingual patients with the monolingual patients, it was found that when they scanned the bilingual patients, that the disease had actually developed physically inside their brain, debilitating it. But because they had at an early age learned to use their brain more capably, it hadn't actually shown in their cognitive skills other than they would have normally, as due to aging, not from Alzheimer's. This is very, very telltale about the advantages of learning a bilingual language. Other advantages that can occur when the child simply grows into an adult is that it can give them an edge in the competitive job application world in general. It can set them up at the global market. It sets up American citizens so that they can actually compete in other countries economically. They also help us broaden our cultural ties with other countries, which in this day and age is very important because we as Americans are very isolated from much of the other foreign countries that we would like to help or like to get help from. But if we can't speak their language, a lot of what we want to say is lost in translation. These skills are so valued that there are actually schools in the military that teach Americans foreign languages to have as their main priority and their main job while they are serving in the active duty forces. That says a lot about the importance of learning another language, really. So, in conclusion, it is easier to learn and retain as a child, and the social and physical benefits that are gathered in life help us compete at the global markets. It helps them in job competition, and it also helps with their health later in life. And honestly, what did you say? Isn't it better to have a healthier, smarter group of citizens being raised to be the future leaders of America. That's it.